All right, what's up, people? I know, I know. First of all, I'm double dipping. Second of all, I'm going to invalidate that post I just made because here's the deal. I'm going to make one video and I'm just going to go ahead and deal with this because the Kalam cosmological argument. Okay, so these are the two premises of the argument. And then, of course, the conclusion follows. I'm not even putting the conclusion down there because once I demonstrate the problematic nature of both of these premises, there's no point in actually drawing out the conclusion. But this, because I want to keep it as simple as fucking possible, because I think a lot of people, like, they think this is so deep. Like, this is the, Christians or, Muslims use it too, This is the best argument for God. Really? Is it? Is it therefore God? I mean, is it the little three dots, the triangle dots, God? No, I don't think so. I don't think it is. And I'm going to go through it, and you see I have a pen ready. It's my devil pen because it's a red pen. And trust me, this is going to be a long video. If this video is 30 minutes, you will be lucky because I'm just going to have fun, man. I'm having a lot of fun right now. So, okay. There are exactly two premises, and together they force the conclusion. Obviously, you can see what the conclusion would be, right? You can kind of see it, right? We don't need to worry about that, though, because we're never going to get there. All right. First thing I want you to understand about the first premise, and this should be fun. Hold on, wait. Oh, fuck. Did it in front of the camera. I should have done it behind the camera. And yes, I do have two remotes, one for the TV, one for the cable. It's weird. Anywho, first thing I want you to understand about this first premise is that it generalizes in a way that you really cannot justify. You're basically making a universal statement when you don't really, other than what might be called anecdotal evidence, or the fact that you live in a particular, like, this is somewhat related to the anthropic principle, which is that your biases are always going to be towards, the situation you find yourself in. So because you live in a universe in which, things, kind of behave in a cause-effect relationship, we'll get back to that later when we talk about cause and effect. But because you exist in that universe, you think you can generalize over that and make this as a universal statement. And I don't really think you can. I don't think you have the justification for doing that. So just the general nature of this in and of itself, but let's let that go and let's just keep going. Let's pretend like that's not a problem. Like there's being, okay, for example, if I make a physical claim in the universe, if I say for all x, y equals negative 1/2 pi, if that doesn't measure out, if it gets proven wrong in even one instant, well then guess what? My hypothesis is fucking disproven. This is the whole idea behind the Riemann hypothesis. Riemann, I say Riemann. Everybody tells me it's Riemann. Whatever. But you understand. Does the real part of that equation have to be equal to 1/2, meaning it's basically the square root? I argue yes, but I haven't proven it. All it takes is one disproof. So again, what we're dealing with here is a super general statement that I don't think there's a justification for, but let's just go ahead and assume that there is. Whatever begins to exist. Now, we're immediately confronted with, what do we mean by those two terms? Begins and exist. And then, okay, let's just read through it. Has a cause. What does that word mean? Cause. So we have three words here: begins, exist, and cause. And we have to figure out how they work together. Now, what I would argue is they work together in a definitional way, which makes this first premise itself circular. Do I need to explain it? I have my pen out. I can write this shit. I just need to fucking, like, think about this. Can I just, like, explain it without writing it? Would that fucking be possible? Okay, so what does it mean to exist? What? Okay, so let's say something exists, whatever that means. We don't have to define that. We can just say that's basal in our definitions. We can say that to exist is it's the thing we don't define, and that everything is defined in terms of that, right? Because look, if you really want to look, defining the word exist is going to be very problematic. You might as well just take it as basal. You might as well just take it as the fundamental, like, and then center everything on that. So existence is there, you know, it's the Buddha nature. This is why we don't get into this. Is not a Buddhism video, but exist. Okay, so we're going to take that as primary, whatever the fuck that means. You know, you want to define consciousness, you want to define perception. Okay, so whatever you mean by that word. Now the word begins, right? And then the word cause. Okay, what does the word cause mean? I think the word cause, now correct me if I'm wrong, I think the word cause basically means to begin to exist, or to make something begin to exist, right? Isn't that kind of what the word cause means? It means to make something begin to exist. So if I cause X, I make it so that X begins to exist, right? So you can already see that the word cause and begins to exist are kind of circularly, you know, related in a way, right? Do you see that? Or is it just me? I don't know. I mean, this is the almighty argument for the existence of God. I'm like, shit, if you don't feel God, if you don't understand God, you don't understand what God means, then fuck you then. You got to write shit down on paper like this. Well, we'll see about that. Hold on. Shit. This is going to be one of my funniest videos because I can't write with, so I'm going to have to take this and see, whenever I take my phone with the other hand, I inadvertently hit the power switch or I cover shit up. So, all right. I'm trying to do this. Fuck. Okay, so this fucking blows. Hold on. Yeah, I do it that way. Okay, so whatever begins to exist, right? And cause. So these are equal to each other. So basically, whatever is caused has a cause. Okay? So that's what's called A equals A in logic, right? And that's called a tautology. That's called a tautology. So whatever is caused has a cause. Okay? Sure. A equals A. And then, of course, everything follows from what? Or that's not a contradiction. Okay. So the first premise by itself, to me, is just kind of not really saying a whole lot. I don't think it's... Okay, so this is William Lane Craig's formulation. Whatever begins to exist has a cause. Well, duh. Right? You're not really saying anything, okay? You're not really... you're just... You're giving definitions. All right, so we're going to go ahead and like... Sorry. All right, so now this is number 2. The second one. Now, granted the fact that we've already kind of gotten rid of this with what I just did here. Begins to exist, cause, same thing, A equals A, boom, tautology, wipe it off the table, right? But why not just go ahead and look at this one? The universe began to exist. How do we know this? Well, of course, you know, what they say is like, oh, it's, hold on, wait for it. I got to do this like really big. Because of the Big Bang, bro. It's the Big Bang. That's how we know. Okay. What do you actually think the Big Bang is? What do you think that is? What is the Big Bang? Do you know what that is? I mean, other than the fact that it was a derogatory term used by one astronomer, astrophysicist, whatever you want to call him, to deride somebody else's theoretical understanding of data. Exactly. That's what it was. The reason we think what we call the universe, now again, this term right here, universe, that's problematic. That's problematic. What do we even mean by that? Well, it means all that there is. But how do we know what we call the universe, what we call the observable universe, is all there is, even when the theory that we use to derive the observable universe proves that there is a bigger part of that universe that we don't know about? Because when the expansion happened, according to the models, when the expansion happened, there are parts that are going to be dark from us just because of the way light travels. We understand this. So what do we fucking mean by this fucking term here? We have no idea. We don't know what we mean. We thought we know what we mean when we use the word atom. The word atom, A-T-O-M, it meant indivisible. And we thought we had the indivisible, so we applied it. Guess what? We were wrong. That's why we have subatomic particles now. Does that make any fucking sense? Well, yeah, it does if you applied the wrong word at the wrong time. What the fuck is this 13.3 billion years ago they tell me about? 13.3 billion years ago, there was some kind of conglomeration of matter energy, mass energy. Okay. Does that mean that was the universe's beginning? No. That's an interpretation. That's an interpretation. That doesn't mean that's what happened. That means, okay, so we traced, certain heat vibrations and shit, good vibrations and whatnot, back to a certain time in which we saw that there was kind of, that. Does that mean that was the beginning? No. So see, the word begin in both of these premises is problematic for different reasons. So when I see this Kalam cosmological argument, and these are the two premises, and look, of course, what follows from that is something like the universe had a cause. And then, of course, that takes a long way to get to God. But really, if this is what you have to do to understand what God is, if this is your argument, then god damn it, dude. That's kind of sad, man. I even have this on fucking, this is hold on, wait for it. Folding paper, see? Look at that. Folding paper. I have the secrets underneath. I have the actual, no. It's a, fuck. Exactly. See what I'm saying? When you get down to it, when you really think about it, the Kalam is pretty empty as an argument philosophically. I know I said I was going to make a separate part for each word. I don't need to.